there are 8 different breast cancer patients, tumors that are represented up here. You need never to have looked through a microscope to see that they certainly don't all look the same. But they are all, I promise you, breast malignancies. They are all malignancies that are potentially lethal to the patient. Yet they look quite different. And there are lots of things that our colleagues in pathology can tell us about this, and that I'll just show you quickly. That tells us about whether it's invasive or it's in situ, whether the cells are well differentiated or poorly differentiated, how they're lining up, descriptive terms. But what we've learned is that there are new molecular genetic information that really underpins why these things look so different, and understanding that is important. So we learned that there's a molecular diversity to human cancers, and we're beginning to understand the biologic and therapeutic implications of that diversity. And that's what we're trying to do in the context of this CIRM grant as it relates to a particular population within the tumor cell group that may be responsible for repopulating after you're able to knock down the bulk of the tumor. But when it does come back in those patients who have recurrence, something else is happening. And what is that all about? And how can we do something about that? So the question came to the fact that we needed a paradigm shift. I've told you how things didn't go well for about 40 years with some of the research. That we needed to understand that certainly cancer is not a single disease, and that even within a given organ, it's not a single disease. And that was the nature of having to change things. Now, one other take-home lesson before we get into some of the things we're doing is an understanding that all cancer is genetic. The whole field has now come to appreciate that. That is not to say that all cancer is inherited. In fact, only a minority of malignancies are inherited, between 10 and 15%. That means 85 to 90% are not inherited. So